All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Unconventional Mindset. My name is Odum, and if you are new here, what we do every Monday through Friday, we get together and we live stream our process of trying to build ourselves a company which is going to make us $1 million in revenue or generate $1 million in revenue every single year. And last year we did about 100K in revenue, just under 100K. This year we're hoping for 250K, which is a lofty goal, considering where we are. But, there's still 4 more months left in the year. Who knows where things can go. And on that note, what we're going to be doing today is we talked about this yesterday, and we've talked about this actually like maybe 2-3 months ago, is right now we run Pixel Media, which is a web design agency where we focus on building websites for customers. What kind of customers? Basically any kind of customers. If you want a website, I can build it for you. Now, after our conversation yesterday, and we had this conversation before as well too, but anyways, maybe we should just let's forget about that and let's keep thinking forward here. Most of our clients are in the academic space where they're researchers, scientists, what have you. And, initially we thought it would really make sense to go after those types of people. But then I kind of decided to maybe not go in that direction, just try to get your generic, just anybody who needs a website, just trying to target those people and then kind of lower the price point. And then we ran some Google ads against that. And then it seemed to be, I don't think we didn't spend nearly enough time really understanding Google ads and whether they were working or not, whether they're effective, whether the ads themselves were wrong or the website itself was wrong. But it kind of became clear that we're not really targeting a specific demographic of people, other than just maybe kind of think about entrepreneurs and people that are just starting out their own company. So that was one part of it. And the other part of it was even just today, actually, yesterday, what have you, I just got a new client, which is awesome. So I'm pretty happy about that. And it is a small contract for just over $6,000. And we're going to be doing we're going to make some videos. So we're going to do some video shooting, and we're going to make a couple of videos where we're going to showcase to the best of our abilities the really cool scientific research that they're doing. And I've been doing that kind of stuff for a while. And in light of this, and this kind of coming again, it comes on my doorstep just through the connections and the people that I know. No one saw my website or any of this kind of stuff. So it stands to reason that I should really take the time to build a company and an agency around helping people communicate their science effectively. And we can reach out so much more than just doing websites, right? Where there could be some video work, some audio work as well, and maybe even some marketing type work for those types of clients as well. So I think I put this in the title, kind of pivoting our creative agency. And we've talked about this before. So I put in brackets, 100% sure this time. So I've been thinking a lot about it, even especially after the conversations we had yesterday on yesterday's stream, and just thinking about, this new client that came on board, and there's still another client that I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I'm not sure what's going to happen or not. And some potential other movements that have been happening as well too in this space. It just makes sense to focus on that and to really showcase the work that we have done and the work that we can do. So with that in mind, what I wanted to do today is, so like I said, I have this new client and I'm going to be going out shooting, and we're probably actually going to be just figuring out the details now, but probably going to be shooting tomorrow. And I just found this out today, this afternoon. So which means I'm going to need to spend the rest of the afternoon, evening just preparing for that. So making sure all my gear is ready to go and charged up and all that kind of stuff, everything's working. And doing a little bit of research on the research that is going on so that I can make sure that I have really good, solid questions to help guide the people that I'm going to be interviewing into getting that content that we want for this video. So I have to spend some time prepping for that most of today. So today's video won't be too long, but what I wanted to do is I just kind of wanted to break down. I have this written here. Kelvin Studio, that's the name that we came up with for what we're going to be pivoting Pixel to. And I think there's one important thing to remember, and I think I'll put this in right here. I'm going to say we are going to be keeping pixel up and using this as maybe we can say a cheap business where someone can get a generic website with fast turnaround time. So that's where we're going to be using pixel pieces, and I think that's going to be everything where how could I even say this? That's going to be everything where the building websites and the pixel pieces, the components, and all the WEBFLOW stuff and the education content, that's all going to be in that umbrella. I believe. I think that's going to make the most sense for us. But I just wanted to throw that note in there just to make that clear. So we're going to be focusing our studio on scientific and academic research, but if it just so happens to be that people come across that just want a website and they can find us as we keep putting out content for teaching people how to build websites, that could be another source of revenue that we can come in. And in that case, I know if we're charging $3,000 per website and having a quick 5-day turnaround, 10-day turnaround, getting 1 or 2 new clients, or preferably between 2 and 4 new clients and new websites per month will help. I could literally hire somebody else to help kind of take care of that kind of stuff too, and just generate some of that income for the company. And there's some other things that we can do as well too to maybe make it some recurring revenue, to try to get a little bit of critical mass for smaller type kind of businesses. So with all that being said, so I have this here, let's do this the right way. So I'm just going to write down the problems that we had the first time around. So this is when I was doing work into Kelvin. We wrote some content and I was kind of designing stuff, and then I kind of just was like, it just kind of no, this isn't going to quite work. So I think the problems that we did have was one, not enough time spent planning out the website. So didn't put much thought in the design / look and feel. Basically, you could even maybe say the brand. And also not enough time spent writing content for the website. So what are we going to do about it? Solutions. So we're going to treat building this new website as we would for a $25,000 client. So that means doing proper content work, and basically staying true to the design process. Wireframing, I'm just going to say information architecture, and then just design and just designing, like wireframing, and then you go to information architecture. That's not spelled correctly at all. ARCH, architecture, and then design, and then development. I mean, there's a few more steps involved in there, but just the staying true to the full design process. And then dedicate enough time to be able to do your best work. So what am I thinking? We're September 11th, September, October. So maybe we can think about, So maybe we can think of very quickly our timeline. Maybe give us 6 weeks. Oh, let's just say, yeah, 6 to 8 weeks to complete project. And then we can end up breaking it down a little bit more, but I think for now, if we kind of envision, what's the date today? So let's just say 1 week, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. So something we can say end of October, early November. Brent, how's it going? Welcome. Yeah, things are going pretty well. I can't complain. I don't know if you caught earlier. I just got a new client yesterday. Or this morning, I should say. Well, I mean, they said yes to agreeing to the work, and then they just paid the first invoice this morning. So yeah, more science-based work, which kind of makes sense. And so I don't have too much time today because I got to prep because we're going to be doing some shooting and some filming tomorrow morning, more than likely. So I got to get all my gear and everything all ready to go. But yeah, so, and that being said, just from our conversations yesterday, I'm just kind of outlining what I'm thinking about building out our new website for what this new agency is going to look like, or the same agency, whatever you want to call it. Of course, we have the name of Kelvin Studio. And I was just thinking about all the problems that happened the first time that I was doing the work to kind of just get something out there, and making sure that we're not going to fall into those same problems. And basically, I want to make sure I do this right. And what I was just writing down is that I just want to treat this as if it was a client coming in the door. They're going to pay, 20, 25K for a new website, and be like, okay, we're actually going to take the time and make something really, really good, so that we can really have a website that we're proud of, and that's going to showcase what we have done and what we can do, so that when people hit our site, they're going to be like, hopefully super, super wowed. Not to say that it's going to be anything fancy, like animation wise or any of that kind of stuff, because I'm not very good at that, but make sure the content and everything is super, super sound. So you're currently on the big screen while I'm eating dinner, if you're wondering. That's exactly what I was wondering. I'm like, how's Brent watching this stream? But that's awesome. Hopefully I don't look too bad there. Am I streaming in 4K? I can't remember if I stream in 4K or not. I feel like it might not be because, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. But anyways, nice. Yeah, no, it's huge. Yeah, it's super, super exciting. It's not the craziest contract in terms of the dollar amount. I don't know how to transfer it or what's the word? Convert it to US dollars. I don't know, something like 5K US or whatever. But it's going to be 2 weeks worth of work, or at least the project's definitely going to have to be done within 2 weeks. So. A quick little project, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Okay, so, anyways, are you having some pizza? It's gotta be. It's not Pizza Friday. Pizza Friday is a sacred thing. So, but anyways, hopefully you're having a good dinner. I'm actually kind of hungry now that I think about it. Okay, so right, so we have our problem the first time around. We basically didn't spend any time planning. We did a little bit of work on the content, and then we didn't really think anything about what it should look like. So yeah, we kind of basically, like, just to be honest, we just kind of half-assed it. So we're not going to do that this time. Definitely not going to do this time. We're definitely going to take our time, and we're going to treat this super, super seriously. Okay. Yeah, no pizza, unfortunately. This might be very off topic. Past days, nothing. If it's about business, it's always on topic. Past days, I've been struggling to be productive. Tasks that should take me a few hours max are taking me almost half a day now. Are there any tips and tricks that you use? Yeah, that's actually a really hard thing to do. It's just to try to really maintain productivity. So there is one thing that I have done. I've done this on and off, but it's been pretty helpful for me. And I have like a little goal card, and I have it here by my desk. I don't want to read it because it's super, super personal, but just actually, it's like these little cue cards here. So I have these. I don't know if you could see these things. Let me full screen this here for a second. So I have like these little cue cards that I have here. Is that going to focus? So they're just these cue cards for like musical notes on like a piano staff or whatever. So I just use these and I go over them to see if I can, like, just name the note. Anyways, the point being is I have a little bit of thing written down of where I want to be. And it's like, hey, I've worked so hard over the past 4 months that I've hit X, Y, and Z goals. I feel so happy that I've gotten to where I am, and because it's where I want to be. Like, just even put it as a weight loss thing. Like, I'm so happy that I've lost the 50 pounds that I wanted to lose. I look the way I want to look. I'm so full of energy, and I'm just so happy now that I've reached my goal. So anyways, I have that kind of written down, and I read it every single day. And it's like, yes, this is who I want to be. This is where I want to go. So this is what I need to do to get there. It's like, stop fucking around and like get the work done, right? So I read that, and it kind of gives me that reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing to keep me on that productive path. So that's one of the tricks that has worked for me and is going to work for everybody. I can't say if it's going to work for everybody, but I really enjoy that because it keeps my mind on the goal of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So there's one book that I would recommend as well too. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. So maybe if you can give that book a try, I'm sure you could probably get it at the library or something like that. But that's a pretty good book in terms of these little tips and tricks that he gives in order to try to be as productive as possible. Because yeah, it's a hard thing, especially if you find that the work you're doing is not very inspiring and not really kind of like it doesn't do anything for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh man, I gotta go to work, right? So, but this is the thing too. You're making this really good point here too. With creative work, it takes so much time. And I don't know how to fix that. Yeah, because the thing too especially with creative stuff, and this is really true for me, is I feel that like I'm just horrible. I'll do something, I'll make a website or whatever, and I am so critical of myself. I'm like, this is the worst website ever. It sucks. I have no talent. I have no skill. And you just get down on yourself. And then, yeah, you kind of just sit in this kind of little self-pity of, oh, I'm just not very good. And, it takes me so long to come up with an idea and to do things. And I just, you just kind of don't know where to go. And you just kind of like wallow in that, like I said, that self-pity. I think it's just a hard thing to crack and a hard thing to break. And I think we just always have to look back and the things that we have done and to know that we've done some good work and that we're trying our best to be the best that we can possibly be, and just really try to enjoy the process of what it is that we're doing and remember why we started it in the first place, why we like being creative and why we like doing creative work is because we like to kind of maybe push ourselves in order to make something that other people are going to find joy and value out of. So just trying to keep that in mind. Easier said than done, man. I totally feel you on that point. But that's something, you know what? This is actually a good point. I think what would be good? I think Rolando and I were having a good discussion on a couple weeks ago because we're talking about here of having guests come on to the live stream. And instead of just me talking every single day, where I can have guests and we can talk about different aspects of business. And he was saying like, oh, have somebody on that does photography, or have someone on that talks about, XYZ or whatever, right? So having people that talk about productivity and even like psychology, right? So the psychology of, not getting into your head and not thinking that you're, that you're not good, or, that imposter syndrome, right? That's the thing. To make sure that doesn't kind of overwhelm you, and that you can keep your eye on the prize and keep moving forward, and keep making sure that you get up in the morning or start your day and be energized to get going and to accomplish something. So that'd be really cool to speak to somebody about that. I know some other people. Also, you've read that book before. Yeah, I might have to read it again. Yeah, it's sometimes some books, it takes a couple reads for things to kind of sit in, and especially like he's saying, like developing habits. Sometimes it takes like 2-3 weeks to constantly do things to kind of get it into the routine. Yeah, I know some people that have done like really extreme stuff. So have you tried? Again, this for me, this one isn't like, I've done it before, but I don't find it as effective. But if you do like a time audit where you kind of just figure out in one day like where you're spending your time, and be like, oh, from this time to this time I watched YouTube, or this time to that time I was like on Facebook, or whatever the case may be, right? Oh, this time I'm just playing some stupid game on my phone. And you can kind of see where you're losing your time. And maybe if you combine that with journaling about like what you're feeling and why you might be feeling a certain way, to maybe see if you can kind of uncover root causes as to why you're procrastinating. And yeah, I don't know. And some people that I've talked to have had some success doing that, so that they know that they're wasting their time, so that they can like, okay, if they notice that they're watching too much YouTube, they just block YouTube on their computer or laptop or whatever the case may be, or they make sure to put their phone outside of the room, and this is my 2 hours of dedicated time. But I think sometimes too, and maybe for me, this is kind of, again, I'm definitely, I don't know if I'm the best person to speak to this, but sometimes I just tell myself, I just like, just wake up and shut up and get the work done. The quicker you get the work done, then the quicker you can move on to something else. And yeah, I just try to just suck it up and just do it. But it's hard. Like I said, it's easy to say, and I certainly don't succeed all the time. But yeah, you just kind of suck it up and you just keep doing. And even if you just start trying to get a couple hours of some really good flow going, that can help. Like even for me, some days I'm live streaming. It's like, even this live stream for me, it just becomes a thing that I do every day, and it's like nothing now. And I could just sit down and I can just do it, right? I mean, some episodes, of course, are better than others, depending on what's going on. But it's just such routine now that I just do it, right? So I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful. Leo, hi, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. It's actually a great idea. I'll give that a try. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know how it goes, because it's a big thing. I know for me, for like when I'm trying to lose weight, I mean, it's a different thing, but it's being productive in terms of making sure you're exercising and eating healthy. But I track every day, I jump on the scale and I see what's going on. And it's like, okay, shit, that was not good yesterday. What did I do yesterday? Just make a little note of it. Make sure that, or try to not do it again, the next day, right? Like, oh shit, look at that. I ate some Oreos and then the scale went up. Not good. Mental note, don't do that anymore. Yeah, being a scientist, you kind of want to get some data as well too. It's never hurts. Let me bring this up here. When things are taking longer than expected with creative work, do you leave the project for what it is and move on to the next, or do you keep working on it enough? Or do you keep working on it even though it's not going smoothly? Yeah, so I think it's a little bit different for me being a one-person shop. So I basically work on it until like I'm happy with showing the client where it's at. And then at the end of the day, if they're happy, then I'm happy. Then I kind of leave it there. So there is a little bit of, with some projects, it's keeping, I don't think it's keeping ego at the door, but keeping my need for trying to always create the best possible designs ever, keeping that at bay. Because if the client is happy and the website does what it needs to do, then you just got to kind of move on. And it depends too on how much a client's paying you. If a client's paying you $2,000 versus $20,000, there's different levels of work that you can do to make sure the project gets to where it needs to go, right? So there's the monetary aspect that goes behind that as well too. So it's not just a black and white answer of, yeah, I just keep going until it's perfect, because sometimes the money is just not there. So you can't do that. So you have to, first and foremost, you have to make sure that your client's going to be happy. So I guess that's my answer to that. But if things aren't going smoothly, yeah, it's like there are things that happen behind the scenes that a client doesn't see. And yeah, sometimes things can take longer than normal, but I would say at this stage of my career though, for just like building websites and people that need, like a simple website, I really stick to the fundamentals of what a good website looks like. Even just if you look at the components that I'm making for Pixel Pieces, I could take those components, put something together really, really quick, and just tweak what the design and the look and feel of a site is going to look like. And then, 95% of the time, clients are going to be super happy with that, because it's going to be clean, it's going to be efficient, and it's going to give everything it is that they need on the website. And then that's it. And it's really, it's like sticking to a formula that kind of works for you. So anyways, it makes sense. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, do let me know if you do keep any kind of like time journaling or whatever. Those things are always fascinating. And if you're like super honest with yourself, it could really open up some eyes. One of the last time audits that I've done, I noticed that I was playing SimCity on my phone or on my tablet, anyways, whatever, for like 2 hours in one day. I was like, what the hell? Just taking time here and there. Oh, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do that. And I was like, that's not good. It's so inefficient. And even then too, when you're trying to get into creativity, usually you want to get into like this, like a flow state, right? Everyone always talks about, being in the zone or whatever the hell, right? Or just being this nice kind of creative flow. Whenever you take even a second to like, oh, I just got to check my email or do this or do that, watch a YouTube video, it pulls you right out. And then you have to like ramp yourself back up. So even like a 5-minute break could be like a 15, 20, 30-minute complete disruption in your whole workflow. So getting rid of distractions and stuff is a huge, huge thing, especially when it comes to creativity. So yeah. Anywho. All right. So back to Kelvin Studio. Right. Okay. So we have the problems, the solutions, and yeah, we have our timeline. Interesting take. Yeah, keeping that in mind if that occurs. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely keep me updated. Let's get the likes going. One for me. Well, thanks, Leo. I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. That's one thing that I'm certainly very bad at, is I don't think I've ever said one time during this live stream to like, hey, if you like what I'm doing, just give it a like. I don't think I've ever done that, or like subscribe or anything like that. Maybe that's to my, oh, look at that, 3 likes now. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. Yeah, maybe I should say stuff more often. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I probably should, do some better YouTubing stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. But I'm trying to build a business. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. Right. Okay. But anyways, thank you guys. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Okay. So yeah, so getting back to Kelvin. We could even look, we've done this before, just real quick. So this is the content we made initially. Let's just review this and kind of see what we were talking about before. Okay, so Pixel Media. What's our problems? We have a lack of targeted audience, and it's a limit of how much we can command per client. Right, so if we don't have a niche with Pixel Media, it's just anybody that wants a website. You know, it's different for if you want someone that's running an 8-figure company, you know, selling some specific product versus some entrepreneur that is just starting a hairdressing thing in their basement. You know, there's a big difference in the audience, and there's a big difference in how much they can actually pay. So, and you can't really target them both with a generic website, right? Let's bring up our website. Right? So, I mean, it's a little more targeted now because we changed the text since then. It was professional websites at startup friendly prices. Again, going for the startups and the small businesses and quick turnaround time. But again, like imagine if we were doing something for, you know, plumbers, right? Like unclog your potential with us. That's horrible. But you know what I mean? Like just targeting specific text of, you know, 10x your plumbing bookings by having a professional website. It's built specifically for plumbing. And then you just showcase the different plumbers and their before and after websites, and you talk about your proprietary or your system of how you can book people extra, like plumbing clients, whatever the case may be, from a website. Then you could really easily sell the ROI. And then I think as well, running any kind of targeting ads is going to be much easier. You know, you go to Google Ads like plumbers, this age, blah, 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 blah. Away you go. As opposed to like, hey, someone types in, I need a website. It's like, okay, that's so vague. So that was a problem. Right. And so this is what we're thinking about. Yeah. Focusing on scientific communication, the communicating the why, the what, and the how of science, right? And how it could benefit society. So, and researchers, we need to help them disseminate their work, whether that's data management, websites, through media, events, communication, public relations. These are just kind of things that I was jotting down as potential avenues of how you can help people, or the types of problems that research groups and researchers have. Data management is definitely a really, really big one. Did you see my code editor on your 1 meter by 1 meter pixel screen? No, I'm sorry. I haven't had time to look at it. So yesterday was interesting because we got off the live stream and then we were doing a couple things with the kids because half the family went off to the circus. And then we're doing those things, and then it got really late. And then I just went to bed, and then I got this new client this morning, so I got to prepare for that. So I just haven't had time. Unfortunately, I apologize, but I'll try to see if I can make time to get to it before the end of the week. I want to say maybe we can do it real quick, but yeah, I'm sure it looks bad on your giant screen. It's sad but true. I'm sure it's not as bad as you think. All right. Well, let's see. Is it on the same website? Code editor. Can you give me, if you can give me a link? Yeah, so it's on there. So I'm there right now. But we're looking for the text editor, right? Or at least the code editor. So, was it this icon? Yeah. Background. Oh, that's if I can upload a background. If you go on the home page. So I guess it's right here then, right? So does it recognize? So what's so we got a view. Okay. And then I guess I could create new pages here. You know, if I have an about page. Or what if I wanted to change it, not be, let's see. If I rename this, whatever, test.js. Okay, so it recognizes that. Cool. Okay, so. Okay, so I'm trying to tab things. Doesn't autocomplete. So if I go just hit enter, I gotta close it. Not bad. Hello world. And then enter. No. How do I? One thing I'll say right off the bat is I don't see a cursor. So I don't know where my cursor is. So it'd be good to see that. Paragraph, enter. All right. So I don't know what the keyboard shortcuts are to like close things. And then I guess console. And test. This gives me, this actually displays it. Cool. So and if I do this here, and I say H1, and I go, maybe, okay. So I'm not familiar with all the, again, we'd need to know what the shortcut keys are and all that kind of stuff. Blue. And then if I take a look, oh, that's not the button I wanted to press. And I lost everything. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I wonder if it, so how do you save things? I guess you have to download this. That looks like a download button, I think. So yeah, one thing maybe I would definitely be sure is that if anybody accidentally closes something, that they can get back to it. But it could be because I'm not signed in as an actual user or something like that. Anyways, I just took a quick look. Nice job, very good. I like that it has all the like the syntax and all the highlighting and stuff. It's pretty good. I think you have a really good solid foundation. But again, I think you're just gonna have to just think about the usability and the UI and then how people are gonna interact with the actual interface and just kind of think how that's gonna go. But a really, really cool start. So good job there. I like it. Okay. All right. So back to what we were thinking about here. Right. So our goal, we want to help researchers convey their projects and proposals and increase their chances of funding. Yeah, this is where I was a little bit hesitant in saying, if you come to our studio, you come to our agency, how can we help you get more funding? There's nothing that we can speak to on this point. I mean, I've worked on lots of proposals, but I can't say that Pixel Media itself, or I have in this capacity, helped anybody get additional funding. I mean, I've created videos and I've done website stuff and put some information together and some visuals. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can speak to anything like that. It's one thing you have to be very careful to not, you got to be truthful. You can't just come up and start throwing some BS, because people will find out. Two sides of the equation. Yeah. Before funding and after funding. After funding, that's probably where we're going to try to focus on. And they get funding, and then we want to help them increase the visibility of their work. Right. Before funding, think about entrepreneurs, researchers with IP looking to turn their research into a business. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult for this before funding, but it would be really, really cool. It'd definitely be really cool to work with actual entrepreneurs that are starting up a startup based on some new technology that they've developed through their research. That would be really, really cool. And I think there's an avenue to talk to some people, because we can definitely see, it's all public knowledge to see what researchers have gotten specific funding, and you can see what kind of work they're actually doing with that funding. So yeah, there's some avenues there for sure. Right. Two audiences then, academics and their research groups, and then basically like public versus private sector. And yeah, science-based innovation startups. Yeah. So that works really, really cool. I'm happy it's not too bad on computer. Yeah, no, it was absolutely fine. There was no issues in terms of not being able to see anything or things being stretched out or anything like that. So thumbs up on the on looking good on the 4K monitor. Yeah, lean into researchers wanting to save the world. We can spread the message why the world needs you. Yeah, I think this is actually going to be pretty good in terms of writing specific content to really kind of play into, the scientist ego kind of thing. Yeah, this is going to be good. And we have a good starting point as well too. We don't have to kind of start from scratch. All right. Yeah, help people. Yeah, so this is really good. I don't think I need to go over all of this here. Communicate. What did you? Deep-rooted problems. Yeah. Okay. And then we talk about the path forward. Right. And then kind of what the actual site map of the website would be. Okay. Yeah. And then we kind of laying out some pages. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is the first thing we want to do, the first stage is I think we want to do, I think we just want to create an outline of the website and the content that is going to be needed for each page and, of course, each section. And what I mean by that is, of course, we need to think about basically the services to offer and the case studies to showcase and our contributions to them. And basically, like, how are we going to lay out the case studies? What's going to be involved in them? So we should just create a framework for all of that stuff. And then once we do that, then we can actually write the content. And then we could start putting in the wireframes and doing that. And then once all that stuff comes into play, then we can go into the actual designing of things. And yeah, and just building from there, basically, right? Just following the standard playbook of taking a site from conception to full blown baby. Okay, that was a little weird, but sorry. Right. Okay. So So yeah, I think that's good. I think I like where we're at here. And like I said in the title here, this is 100% for sure. We need to do this. We need to pivot our Pixel Studios into this, into this market. It's our niche. It's where 90% of all of our clients are coming from right now. It's where we've made most of our money. It just makes sense to finally create a website that is really going to speak to those people, and then do our best to figure out how we're going to get that message across to those people. And I talked about this before, but LinkedIn, I think, is going to be the way. We're going to write specific content where it's going to be like how to get your message across to the world, like how to promote your science and the things that you can write about on your website, blah, 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 blah. Just putting it out there and showing scientists and educating them, educate the educators on what they need to do in order to properly be able to communicate their science. So yeah, really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be really good. So like I said, I'm going to be shooting with this client tomorrow. I think that, let me check my email to see if we have any kind of confirmation. No confirmation yet. It's already 4:00. So we'll see if this goes, but I'm going to assume that I'm going to be prepared to go film tomorrow, regardless. If this client comes back at 6:00 tonight or 7 and says, hey, yeah, we're on for tomorrow, I want to make sure I'm ready. So I have a whole checklist of all the things I need to make sure. I got to get tripods, I got to get the lights, memory cards, cameras, lenses, microphones, make sure everything's charged up, ready to go, mic checks, all that kind of stuff. And do some research on the actual research that they're doing, so I can make sure to ask very good questions. And really, actually, I love this part of the job of talking to somebody and like recording them, having like a sit down interview where you can just sit down and have conversations with actual humans and interact with people, and kind of learn about their research and try to get really good content out of people. I really like that aspect of filming. So it's gonna be fun. But anyways, we gotta really prepare for that and get ready. So so looking forward to this project, and maybe there might be some stuff that we can do on the live stream as we keep going, and just kind of showing what I do for client work. I don't know if that's appropriate or not. I'm not sure. Thank you for checking out Alluri Studio out. The stuff is not stored because I do not want to overwhelm the local storage of the user. Yeah, I guess if you're having, I don't know how other places do that. I guess they don't. But yeah, if you don't want to take off all of my RAM for storing that. So yeah, that definitely makes a whole lot of sense. But I wonder if there's stuff that you can do that you can store it on your end as well too, right? So if you can do some kind of asynchronous, like AJAX stuff, and store some of that stuff on a database on your back end. And then, but then you have to, I guess that would only be for a user that's like logged in, so you can actually keep credentials of who's actually logged in instead of storing cookies and stuff like that, because that'll work most of the time, but sometimes it won't. And yeah, that might get a little bit tricky. But anyways, those are little details that are not to worry about, or that we don't need to worry too much about. Okay, yeah, no backend. Yeah, so then never mind. Rolando, greetings. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. But just about wrapping up here. But just for you, just kind of following up what we talked about yesterday is, yes, really appreciated the chat that we had yesterday. And I was just talking about now, I just got this new client today, and I'm going to be going out filming tomorrow. At least I think that's what's going to be the plan. So another client in the science space, in the academic space, and moving or pivoting Pixel into focusing on doing work for academics. It just makes sense. And it's just going to be the better way forward. And I want to make sure that this time when we create a website, I want to treat it as if a client was paying me the big bucks to do a website for them. And I'm going to take the time to make sure that I do this properly so that we have a really good website that speaks to our potential clients and that is SEO optimized. And and that just is going to be used as a framework for us to catapult our agency into the 7 figures. So looking forward to that. So again, yeah, thanks so much for the conversations yesterday and the pushes. I really do appreciate that. And I'm fairly confident that this is going to be a really good thing for us moving forward, at least in terms of really maintaining good cash flow here with customers coming in. And I think with this, I really think by the end of the year, with the potential of getting clients, that we can get to the point where we're making 10 to 15K a month here in terms of the work that we can get for the clients that are out there. So at a minimum. So I'm looking forward to that. So, okay, I'm going to send you a video of schemas in Science so that the websites are very well optimized and feel happier with your work. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I appreciate that. That would be amazing. It'd be interesting. There's different schemas for different categories of the type of websites. That's kind of interesting. Because you think Google, the way that they index stuff, it's, they have a specific way that they want things to be indexed. But I guess if certain things work for different types of fields, then so be it, I guess. That'd be good to know. So that's awesome. So I definitely appreciate that. So thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I got to do all the prep work to get ready for filming tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining and tuning in. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the likes as well. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Yes, there are many types of schemas, hundreds. Okay, so that makes sense then. Different schema for the different types of... And then I guess those ones are... They're all optimized, I guess, to be like properly indexed or indexed very well with Google. I guess I would imagine so anyways, right? Because if they're the ones that are... I mean, we want to optimize for Google, not really... I don't really want to optimize for Bing. I don't really care so much about being number one on Bing. You want to be number one on Google. That's pretty cool. Okay, lots to learn about this. So we'll do really well about really kind of putting the process of building even this website online, because it's not a client stuff, so I don't have to worry about, it's not proprietary information or anything like that. So if we do all this stuff on the live stream and really do a good job of how we're building the site, I think that could be educational for a lot of people, even for me, especially when we're talking about proper schemas and all that kind of stuff. So cool. Right on. Thanks again, Rolando. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. So Google indexes them more effectively regarding the topic, type of content, etc. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense to me. Awesome. Looking forward to it. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thank you again so much for joining and tuning in. Much appreciate the support. And as always, I'll be back here again tomorrow. Not sure what time tomorrow, because if I'm filming all day, it might not be till later in the evening. But either way, I will be back here tomorrow for a brand new stream. Until then, take care. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.